Joining us right now on the Daily Dose, a longtime friend of the Dose and a guy that understands the history of sports. You know, we've talked about this before on the Dose. The loudest sports fans are the youth. Unfortunately, most of the youth, though, have no sense of history. So when you say, hey, who's the greatest basketball player of all time? They say, like, Ja Morant. Well, of course they do. That's all they've seen. But if you didn't see it, you might not understand it. Now, if you did not see it, I released a 2-part article last week and this week where I counted down the greatest players in Denver Broncos history, sort of. And I needed someone that does understand sports history to join me in recapping that article. We're going to be talking some Denver Broncos today. Mike from Castle Rock has stopped by to embark on this journey with me. Mike, first off, thank you for stopping by.
Always a pleasure. It's always a fun time.
Also, Mike, if you're watching on the video, Mike brought some tequila back from Mexico. Smooth. No, that's actually really good. That's really good. Where in the world did you get that? Holy cow, that's good.
Little private label, small family outside of Puerto Vallarta. Wow. It's amazing.
That is insanely good. We're going to move on from that. You know, in the history of the Daily Dose, we have never done a show so completely self-serving as this one. We're a sports show that talks about all things sports, national sports, world sports, with a Denver flavor. But today, honestly, we're just going full-blown Denver homer right now, and I apologize in advance for that. If you're not a Colorado or you're not a Denver sports fan, but I'm telling you this, if you are a sports fan in general, you're going to enjoy some of the history that we're going to be talking today, regardless of your favorite team or your favorite affiliation. So, Mike, I actually began this project back in, I think, March. And I texted back and forth with you, and I was like, here's what I'm thinking of doing. I was thinking about doing like a greatest Denver Broncos, but by jersey number. And I'll be very transparent. It ended up being a lot tougher than I expected because I did want to go by jersey number. I wanted to start at 0, go all the way through 99. And maybe this is just me, but there are certain jerseys that when I see them, I immediately have a link to the player that wore it. If you see a Chicago Bears 34, you think of Walter Payton. You see Boston Celtics 33, you think of Larry Bird. Obviously, there are certain players in Denver Broncos history that when you see that number, sometimes when you see the right color, it has to be the right color sometimes or it'll throw you off a little bit, you immediately think of a certain player. They come to your mind. Mike, we're going to drill down on this list a little bit that I have made here in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, it's been a while. We won the Super Bowl back in 2015, and since then we have been hot garbage. There were a few positions in place. I mean, we've got some decent wide receivers. We've got some decent running backs. They're at least solid. The defense has a couple of pieces that I think could be very, very good, but I'm kind of looking at this team, and we're all thinking the same thing. They need a quarterback. They need a quarterback so bad. Well, they went. They got Russell Wilson from Seattle, and there is some major excitement about this team again. Training camp starts today at the Valley. Mike, you're a longtime season ticket holder. How excited are you for the upcoming Denver Broncos season?
Unbelievably excited. This rings of when, you got Peyton Manning's a free agent. It's unbelievable. The drought over the last 5 years has been historic. It's been very frustrating as a season ticket holder, going to games and just hoping to be even entertained, much less have a win. It's so different coming in. I'm more excited for preseason than I have been in so long, just to see quasi-real action with Russell and this very talented group of wide receivers.
Well, and how many games did we have? You're facing Kansas City, and you're knowing there's no way we can compete tonight. You hope maybe we lose. There's no way we can win. There's no way we can win. We can't win. Now that is changed. That's different.
Oh, it absolutely has. And here's the thing. Despite, the lack of a good quarter, even an above-average quarterback, we've lost a few heartbreakers to Kansas City in the last few years.
Yeah.
We always play them tough. Yeah. And you go from a bottom third quarterback to a top third quarterback, regardless of where you want to rank him, top 5, top 10, whatever.
Right.
It definitely turns the table. It's gonna make the divisional games so much more exciting. And wow, what a division, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it's
we're super excited about the additions we made. Everybody in the division has made strides to catch Kansas City. It's unbelievable. This
And
division
Kansas
is
City
going to
may
be,
have taken a step back.
I think they did.
Have to.
You know, they've got some questions on the offensive line. You get rid of the most dynamic wide receiver in football, top 2 or 3 at least.
Yeah.
You put some fillers in there, but they're not nearly as good as what they lost. So it's so exciting looking forward to this NFL season. We were so excited last year about Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
Because
exactly
that
right.
was an improvement of what we had. How far we have come. It's going to be a fun year. Let's just hope everybody can stay healthy and just provide us with a more exciting year.
Mike, I really am trying not to just be full-fledged homer. I try to stay objective. I really like the moves they've done with ownership. Walton comes in, we're going to have to see how he is as an owner because there's plenty of rich guys that are horrible owners. But it sounds like he's saying the right things. We'll see if he does the right things. They bring in Condoleezza Rice. Now, I don't know, political affiliation, whatever. She's a very intelligent person.
Oh,
They're bringing in Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
These are good moves, aren't they?
Yeah. If you remember, I think you and I are on the same page where if it's on, we're watching the alternate broadcast with the Mannings.
Yes, absolutely.
And when they had
Way better.
Condoleezza Rice on there, I was stunned.
We talked.
She is brilliant.
We're like, holy cow, she knows football.
She is brilliant. So I'm excited about that. Yes. Yeah. That was honestly the last piece. How many? It's been so bad as a Bronco fan. After this offseason, we needed a quarterback, we needed a coach, and we needed an owner. And
other than that, we were fine.
3 of the most important things in the National Football League. And boy, I think we'll have to see about Hackett, but everything looks good. Everything looks good.
Much, much better. I want to talk a little bit about Hackett in just 1 second. Okay, YouTube, be sure that you go over and check out the rest of the podcast because this week on The Dose, as you can see, I've actually got Mike from Castle Rock here in studio. You can't see him because I don't feel like turning the camera around, but he did bring this really good tequila that I'm going to be drinking the whole time. But we're going to be talking a little bit about the Broncos this year, but then we're going to move on and we're going to talk about the list that I did make, the greatest Broncos in Denver Broncos history. I'm telling you right now, there were some really, really easy decisions. There were some really, really tough decisions. So make sure you go over and check out the full podcast. I will leave a link here in the comments on YouTube for you. Hope you all are doing well. I will see you all next Wednesday. Have a great week.